Welcome to this week's deep dive. This week, we're really excited to have Sam Stevens from World Emblem. She did a fantastic job on this week's deep dive for PromoChat, and this is the first time you've come on for our deep dive, so you're a brand new person here as well.
Yes, yeah.
Welcome. Well, thank you for joining us. And so this week, because it wasn't as exciting as our 100th PromoChat, but it was 101. So we took this as a learning experience of what do you learn? And so it was PromoChat 101 this week. So our question for you was, pick a project you just finished. If you could go back in time to when you were just beginning your work on it, what would you tell the younger you? And your response was, communicate with everyone who the project affects. If you're in marketing, talk to sales. If you're in sales, talk to customer service, etc. They'll have a unique perspective you might not have thought of. And so this is, again, there's all these like super easy things to be like, of course we communicate, of course we do this, but it's the action of it that makes the difference. So when you start a project like this and you're trying to make every voice heard, how do you encourage people to not just engage and give you the feedback, but to give positive feedback instead of making it a complaint thing, or be like, here, make people think in terms of the positive and like engage with the topic and the project? What do you do?
Oh man.
It's a big question.
It's a really big question. It's a good one. I'll give you an example of one of the projects that we've been working on lately in the marketing department. So we were tasked with something pretty great, and we are reworking our marketing funnel. So from the time that a person first goes on our website to the time that they call or email us to a customer service answering the phone and directing them to the person they need to talk to, we kind of need to, we were tasked with making that process easier for customers to get in contact with the right person, right? So as marketers, we only see the leads that come in and then we pass them off to sales. We don't really see the whole picture. So when we were first doing this project, we had a plan in place, and then we decided to kind of get everyone in a room together to get everyone's feedback. And it ended up being a really amazing session. We all sat in a room. There was a glass, there were a set of like glass doors, and we had these markers we were writing on the wall. We had, we had markers and tree branches and words all over the place. It was a really, really great brainstorming session.
Awesome. So you like whiteboarded the whole like process and solution thought process as well.
Right. Yes, exactly. And kind of having a time for, it's a very technical project, but we still had some room for creative feedback and ideas and making people feel like they were heard. And then asking people specifically their expertise. So somebody from customer service would have a different perspective on what would be easier for a person calling in who's a current client versus somebody who would, potentially be a new client going off to sales. So it was really like when you sit down with somebody and you say, listen, I'm not an expert, you are, please tell me, what you think of this idea. It really actually does bring out a lot of positivity in the room.
Yeah, and it's so true because like every project you want to think in terms like a project is started to create a solution, and you have to figure out those friction points along that solution. And what you see and what you encounter every day is a totally different friction point than someone on the front lines or way in the back for tech. Like you wouldn't see the same obstacle that they would see. So I love the idea of just bringing everyone down and making it this massive brainstorming session.
Oh yeah, totally. And it also helps us kind of like pare down the ideas too. So like having maybe an IT person in the room, like we'll have this great idea. What if we can reroute them from this side to this side to this side? And IT person will be like, we can't do that. That's not within our capabilities.
Yeah. That's not even what technology does yet.
Yeah. And what's great is that because everyone was there, we were able to figure it out pretty quickly. You know how you get a lot of email chains. So somebody has an idea, then they email it here, and then they email it here, and then at the end of the email, you have somebody who says, we can't do this. Then, you just wasted all of that time instead of actually like sitting and talking together.
And so many emails too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So what was there one insight that came out that you were like, oh, like just blew you away with being like, okay, that wasn't even in my realm? Was there like a unique insight that came out for this?
You know what really surprised me, and I don't know, I guess I should have thought of it before, is people who call in, sometimes they just prefer to email. And this was something that came from our inside sales department. They say that people don't like to get called. Sometimes they just want to get emailed. So we included this checkbox on our contact form that says, would you like to be called, or do you want to be emailed? And then we actually take that into consideration when we contact them back. And I really like that. I wouldn't have thought of that before. Somebody would rather just be emailed back and forth about the process of like buying them. So
yeah, well, millennials, we don't like talking on the phone, so it's probably our fault that you did that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I would rather. I like emailing. I like chat. And then chat is another thing we offer on our site too. So.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on PromoChat, and thank you for giving us these insights and spending your time with us. So where can we find you on the internet?
Well, you can find me personally on Twitter and LinkedIn, Sam Kickboxes. If you want to follow the company that I work for, World Emblem, we're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of those places. You can just search World Emblem or go on our site.
Just on the internet there.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Awesome. And everyone, remember to follow us. PromoChat happens every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And thank you again to our sponsors, Maple Ridge Farms, who are so generous on this. And thank you, Sam, for being part of this. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Take care.